You're listening to Chugging Bleach, the only podcast where the bounce count.
Welcome to Chugging Bleach, your number one source for filler arc coverage in podcast form. I'm your host, Bob Video Games, and with me as usual, clones of Dan Video Games.
You pervert.
Dr. Aggro.
I have a very smart plan.
And Chris Wolfhart. This time we covered Bleach Season 15, the Gotei 13 Invading Army, which is episodes 317 through 342. We're going to talk about this arc, but before we get into it, we need to talk about the Patreon and how you can get early access to episodes of Chugging Bleach and many other benefits. Chris, can you tell me more?
Yes. If you would like early access to this show and a myriad of other benefits, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as early access to this. The other show is done. I guess you can get early access to it. Pokemon Go to the Movies for like 2 more weeks after this show's published.
I think
maybe?
it's going to be about a month of extra early access because of Game of the Year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Better get on that. You get other extended content for other shows we do, and you help fund a special thing for patrons every month. Either a horrible commentary track for a horrible thing. The commentary track's actually excellent, but the thing it's for is terrible. Or a patron-exclusive show where we talk about a good thing that we had to watch that you all voted on and then discuss that good thing. And sometimes only one of us might think it's a good thing. Sometimes 2.
Sometimes none.
Oops.
I don't think that's happened yet, thankfully.
I think it happened exactly once, but if Agra was here, it wouldn't have happened.
And many other benefits. Patreon.com/gbpodcasts.
All right, let's get through these episodes, because, oh my god, this was a filler arc where almost nothing happened.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple things happened. They just happened over and over and over.
This arc had so much potential. If you don't know what this arc is, it is about a villain who, inexplicably, through filler villain power, has the ability to make a perfect copy of any other Soul Reaper.
Wow, that seems like a ridiculous power. Good thing that's the only one he has, right?
God, he is like Cartman, just every power you can imagine.
Yeah, he sure does have every power.
Oh my god.
And in like the first 8 episodes of this arc, there's some excellent things, such as Omaida's clone is skinny.
Yeah, he's like a hot dude. It's great.
That is actually really funny. It's the only time I've been glad that Omaida's in this show. Is him facing skinny him and just being like, that guy's hideous and terrible, and oh my god, he's me.
Because like the context is horrifying and kind of sad, because it wasn't the villain making the tactical decision to improve upon the original. It was part of that guy's soul rejecting how his life had gone.
Yeah, he literally talks about he came into existence, saw how he was, and said, oh, fuck this. And started working out. That's insane. That might have been the peak of this entire arc.
God, it really was.
that is not the peak of this arc, in my opinion.
No, in fact,
my
there
opinion,
are 2 peaks in this. They're right next to each other, and they go flying through a building.
Yeah, the peaks of this arc, in my opinion, is the double Momo.
Yes. God.
Wherein they're like, well, I need to kill the captains, so I'll have clone Momo attack Hitsugaya, and then Momo shows up to protect Hitsugaya from the clone Momo, and then it turns out they're both clones.
Yes, it's so good, and they're both apologizing and sad, and
because they still have the same personalities. They're not mind controlled.
Yeah, like it would have been so terribly sad if I didn't feel like Hitsugaya deserved getting rinsed by 2 Momos because it was possible for him to get rinsed by 2 Momos.
Yeah, how is this guy a captain again?
To be fair, he does win once he locks in, even a little. Even after they impale him and blast him through like a wall with 2 fireballs.
Oh my god. And like later on in the arc, he's like, yes, clone me is going to stop you, Byakuya. And I'm like, no, pick a different assignment.
So there was so many, just the stupid fucking conceit had so much potential.
Yes.
Like, we could have had Chad and Ishida killing all the lieutenants we hate that take up screen time that could be filled by Chad and Ishida, but we don't get that.
Yeah, instead they're like, what if every character fought their clone? And it's like, that's the most boring thing to do with this.
It is.
And,
It's so boring.
It's so important to cover the fact that they write in a conceit to not have the fight happen more than once some of the time, because when they die, a candy comes out and they crush it. So you only see the double Momo once. And then halfway through the arc, they go, well, that actually didn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. Actually, we can bring any of them back.
We're resurrecting any of them just like based on what we want to do in the moment.
Oh my God. Yeah, that didn't matter at all is like the clarion call of this entire.
Yeah. And there is certain parts of them fighting their own clone I like. Like I like Byakuya fighting his own clone after killing clone hits a guy and just being like, no, I still win. I'm Byakuya.
Like, you're injured. I'm sorry. I'm what? No, I'm not. I was fighting Hitsugaya.
It's even funnier because if I remember, that's the exact fight where later Byakuya shows up to a thing and they at first don't address him. Like the last time we saw him, he was deep in a battle with himself, heavily damaged, doing the fight. And now he's just here. And I'm like, they should just leave it that way. They should just be like,
no, we don't need to see why.
He won. That's what's important.
Right.
I do like the angle of them exploding each other with the Senbon Zakura Tsukiyogi.
Kageyoshi.
Yes.
Kageyoshi, yeah, the Senbon Zakura. And then then they're both going to do the compressed blade, the super move. And then when the clone tries to do it, he just explodes like he was fatally injured in that first.
But, we're talking about what the fights are in this arc. We haven't talked about the emotional core of this arc. See, this dude, the bad guy, is the original creator of Mod Souls, they say.
But not Cone. Not Cone. That's an important one you know about. We can't do that.
So, the emotional core of this arc is, oh God, what is her name?
Nozomi?
Nozomi,
Yeah,
thank you. Nozomi is she's the original Mod Soul asterisk. And her and Cone are a lot alike because they're both Mod Souls and they were just created, but she's really not like Cone because she's incredibly quiet, reclusive, and calls him a pervert nonstop, and that's her whole character for at least 16 episodes until they decide she can have a Soul Reaper formed, so that way she has a series of battles that are absolutely terrible where she absorbs powers and then explodes them at people. It is rancid. Every part attached to she's like a Christmas tree, okay? And every ornament on her sucks.
There sure is. They sure do spend a lot of time talking about her power is incredible and unique, and I'm like, isn't this exactly what Ukitake does? Like
Right.
his exact thing is to reflect attacks.
And they even show him do it in this arc.
It's really good. It's really, really good how they just don't address that that's the same fucking thing.
I really want to know, because if you've never watched this arc, this is maybe the best animated arc of Bleach.
It is. It's so weird.
Its highlights, animation-wise, are easily the best in the whole series. But
Some
there
of this
are
shit is movie quality.
Yes, 100%. There are 2 episodes where it takes a total shit.
Right, which is to be expected.
Right.
But it maintained a higher quality overall is crazy, because I think that it does... Earlier than this, we had some really good highs, like the Ulquiorra fight looked really great and did look movie quality frequently. But this definitely has way more consistency.
Yeah, it has way more consistency. It was only really 1 or 2 episodes that took a shit. And then its highs are up there with Hellverse, it feels like.
This arc looks better than the arc of everybody fighting Aizen.
Which is insane. Because this arc is brain dead. It is terrible. This is the worst Bleach arc. I cannot imagine the next one, the final remaining before we do The Gap, before 1,000 Year Blood War, being worse. That seems impossible.
Yeah.
Nozomi and Cone being the emotional core of this is the worst.
Yeah, Nozomi and Cone. God, I can't believe this is a Cone arc. They had to get one in. How did this happen?
And it really upsets me. So this wouldn't there's 2 things. This first one wouldn't bother me at all if it was another we're going into a filler arc and address it thing. But this is ostensibly in the main continuity. So the whole thing is that the villain is scared of hollow power because he can't duplicate that or reflect it or do anything with it. Where are the Vizards?
Yeah, they just don't exist for some reason.
They just don't exist, and I wouldn't even call that out if it was like the last 2 filler arcs where it's like, we're going into an alternate story arc, because who cares? Mm-hmm. But this is supposed to be reality.
Yeah, I also hate that they did that because it ruins this whole moment where Ichigo loses his power. It feels like it cheapens it. It's like, yeah, then
don't
for
worry,
a few
they
months,
redid it way worse.
I know.
At the end.
It feels like a moment, the writing that cheapens the emotional core of a moment, like a bad biopic. You know, you watch a movie based on a real human being and they make it so overwrought and unbelievable and saccharine that it just like, you know, it was sad he had cancer in real life. The way you portrayed this in the film just makes me angry and disgusted. That is almost the level of corruption and perversion that has occurred to this moment. I honestly believe this would have been a really, really touching thing if it went straight from the end of the Aizen thing into this. Like, I went and read the manga pages.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is, there's
again,
weight.
that could have been the end of Bleach.
It could have, and that I will find out many months from now, may have been for the best. But
Yeah, that was my thought. Like, oh, wow, oh, God, there's another arc.
another arc is it? Podcast. Yeah, I it is unfortunate that it cheapens that moment. I think the part that really makes it the worst arc for me really is just Nozomi and Kon. Like, their chemistry is terrible. It's the world's most brain dead Japanese stand-up routine. It feels like.
It feels like they kind of tried to mash Asuka and Rei together and be like, oh, she's tsundere and quiet. It's like, that just makes something unappealing.
Yeah, no, like, she is built to spec.
Yes, I think that's a good way of putting it.
And that spec is wrong.
It's like the anime statue display at a retail store came to life. This is the real science of anime, or weird science of anime. They're just like, whoa, it's a real woman. I'm like, well, it's woman shaped. It's not human.
This is difficult to discuss because nothing really happens in this arc, dear viewer. Here's kind of they set it up and establish the villain exists and he has these clones.
And time powers, which later become
time
space
powers.
Yeah,
Later become space powers.
And now they just boast or something.
And the funny thing is when they do that, they go, well, actually, it makes perfect sense that was space powers back then. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, they even, like, if it is their explanation of it being space powers when he teleports behind someone and slashes them makes no sense. It's like he makes a new space behind them. It's like, then how did he attack if he's just teleporting?
That
What's
part
the
makes
strike?
no sense.
Because
Yeah, and then later it's like, my power is to copy a space and then I can throw it up as many times as I want, which does produce the really unbelievably funny visual of him attacking people by using like his fucking Fallen Kingdoms attack card to summon a recording of Kinpachi to kill people, which is, that's a pretty good pick if you have to pick a box to summon over it.
And
Right.
something Chris said there is really important to understand they don't know what they're writing at any moment, because as he just said, he can record it and use it as many times as he wants, is what they describe it as at one point. But it's obvious the way it plays out. He has to absorb it every single time before he can do it.
Except for that first time where he did it twice.
For that first time where he did it like twice.
Yeah, that fight in the middle, that's what his power is. He has the power of being Little Big Planet and creating stuff.
Right. He takes the snapshot and then he spawns a new one.
God, it's so fucking stupid because in the first place, I'm copying the space doesn't make any goddamn sense.
No.
It's just like Magneto's using his powers to control the weather somehow. Shut up. But also he has to spin his big stupid double blade thing like 3 times to activate it, and like I think Ichigo stops him from spinning it once and then immediately gets owned anyway, which is the writer just going, I know it doesn't make any sense, but if you try to point that out, you're wrong now.
Yes. Everybody does every single person who fights him blocks it at one point and then it just doesn't matter. This is the first filler arc, I think, that really egregiously is just like, why are people having trouble with this dude? All the previous ones, once the filler character had to fight somebody real, they died.
Mm-hmm.
And this, he's like, they treat him like Aizen. He's fighting every captain at once.
Yes.
He was like 7th seed of Squad 12. His whole backstory is they shuffled him into Squad 12 because he sucked at fighting. So, like, which is it? Was he super weak, or did Soul Society once again do something hideously evil and have this coming?
Well, I mean, there's the logic of the original guy was hideously weak, and once his brain got melted by the VR chat, he became really based and powerful.
Yeah, like his rig is way more powerful than any others he makes.
Unfortunately, his 4090 power PC crashed and his brain was melted.
His plan did what did literally seem to be some bizarre Virgil DMC5-esque plan of like, I will split myself into these two beings that are stronger than me, and then when they fuse together, I will be reborn with the power that I should have because I'm too shitty to use my sword as I am.
It's like some Ten Shinhan cheating with the Patara earrings bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I have to ask, because I haven't watched Super. That didn't happen in Super, did it?
No.
Okay,
He doesn't get shit in Super.
That's what I
Man,
thought.
I was like, that'd be worth watching.
It would be hilarious and thus worth watching. It's true.
Like the Ray guy, like, okay, I was able to make clones of captains with all of their abilities and memories. You know what? Sure. Fine. Taxon, they're also stronger than the originals. What the fuck? Have we been able to do this the whole time?
And
was anybody anywhere near this technology?
And the only reason they didn't start off stronger than the originals is because they were all wearing the Broly necklace
Control
thing
bracelet.
but as a bracelet?
Yeah.
Halfway through, he's like, oh yeah, they were holding back the whole time for some reason.
And then after they do that, it's like, but they're still not actually any better.
Yeah, that was the best part. It matters for one episode.
Yeah.
Like the whole first part, oh, they're you, but they're stronger, except you're not. You're still toe-to-toe with them. So, whatever.
Here's this arc goes backwards, it feels like. Because it has all the captains kill their clones. It has like all the captains fight each other's clones. Sometimes it's not the same captain, sometimes it is. Then they revive them all, and then have the fucking lieutenants go and get mulched for a little while until the captains show up again after being missing for like 8 episodes.
Yeah, the top of the building blows up and everyone's like, obviously all of the most powerful people in the world are dead.
Yes, believe this viewer.
But like if this was an arc structured even remotely by a competent person, you would have had the first part where all the lieutenants team up and fight the different captains and with cleverness and grit take them down, and then the villain revives them stronger, and then the real captains show up and go, we have that dog in us, and they don't, and kill all the clones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, us describing this arc is deceptive. It's heinous. It's a foul imitation of actually watching it, because what we're saying will, by the necessity of being a sentence telling you what happened, make it sound far more planned, cogent, and cohesive than it actually is to watch.
We got a new Bounce Sting variant in this arc.
We did.
We did get a lot of funny remixes in this arc.
We got a lot of music that, like, in episode specifically 332, there's like a Paper Mario track that plays in the background of like the most of the episode.
I really appreciated the techno remix of the Ichigo's Pop It Off theme. That was really good.
God, I cannot get over that song. Every time it comes up, I'm like, really? This is the hero theme of this series?
Yeah, no,
it's so fucking goofy.
It's great.
It's great.
You always imagine the lady quartet, right? The 5 ladies singing it together. That's what I always visualize.
They just come in from the Hercules movie.
Hell yes.
So the Nozomi gets Soul Reaper powers, and her powers specifically can cancel out the villain's powers. So Ichigo, Ishida, Chad, and Renji train her, and Ichigo literally says explicitly, Urahara trained me, so I'm gonna use the same training method he did for her. And then Ishida and Chad and Renji all helping him, like, this is generational trauma. We're watching generational trauma. It's like, your training method of just beating her up over and over is bad.
goddamn, my power, like my Zanpakuto can specifically counter the villains. 1, no, it can't. 2, no, it doesn't. 3, why did you think that?
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with the ability to capture space. It's just another thing they said, because everything in this arc is just something they say and then have to address for literally one episode before moving on.
Yeah. It's really insulting.
Mm-hmm.
It is deeply insulting.
Like that same, like they're training her and the attack happens, and then I cannot remember the name of the villain, either the original one or the
Kageyoshi
fused form.
No. Wait.
No.
What? Wait.
No,
That was half of a move name. I swear it's close to that.
Kagerosa.
Kagerosa.
Yeah, that's the first version of him.
Him soloing the old man made me so unbelievably angry.
Yeah, that really pissed me off. It's like, guys, even Aizen couldn't solo the old man. Aizen was like, if I fucking tried to fight you directly, you'd whip my ass.
They half paid attention. They were like, well, Aizen was the last villain, and he was strong enough to go against him alone, so I guess this guy has to be too, because of escalation. It's like, that's not what happened, and no, you don't.
I really would have appreciated it if he had just been like, yeah, you can't fucking do anything with my fire. My number's too big.
Right.
And then he has to run away, but that does not happen.
Right? Because I was like, oh, he's got this thing where he copies a zone of space, but the fucking fire is literally everywhere, so he can't copy it all. He can't block it all. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're just gonna keep shooting beams at him. Okay, yep, no, that's fine.
What if you just teleported behind him, since you're also the fastest captain, and decapitated him?
Yeah.
Where was this guy during the whole Aizen thing?
VR chat.
Yeah.
Like all of the other filler and movie villains, they're somewhere else and they show up to do their thing. This guy was apparently just in the Soul Society.
He was by. They didn't even. So here's another big missed opportunity this arc, I think. Like, let's say he can't clone Aizen because Aizen's number's too big. Fucking whatever. Where's Gin? That would have been a really good choice. You could have had a clone Gin. You could have had drama with Rangiku. You could have had him be real shitty because he doesn't really give a shit about this at all, but he's kind of playing along with it because it has the original personality. That would have been something.
That'd be too interesting. They can't do anything like that.
No, we need a scene where he clones Tosin and his sense of justice is too strong and he just kills him.
Tosin's sense of justice didn't even make sense.
Here's one of the most insane things about this arc. So, once they establish that these clones exist, by the way, they give up on the idea of the clones doing like subterfuge and playing people against each other like 4 episodes into this arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just start
give
having
up
their
real
eyes
fast.
glow like with lightning coming out, so even the viewer knows. Everyone knows.
Except, that's not for the viewer to know. Their eyes actually clone blue, fucking glow blue, because when Mayuri imitates his clone, he uses fucking contact lenses to duplicate the blue glow.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
And the big obvious bangle that no one ever notices.
Yeah,
somehow.
That is so stupid. I really liked the part of him owning the shit out of the villain. That should have been the end of this arc, or at least significantly changed how it worked.
Right. He should have stopped being the villain right then. Like, we should have gotten the true evil behind the mastermind.
And then,
I think that is the 4th spoilered image I put in there, is him melting because Mayuri infected him with cancer.
Yeah, again, Bleach will frequently write the correct ending before they get to the real ending.
Yeah, viewer, listener, I really can't stress enough. In this arc, the special girl, Ichigo, shows up with Ichigo. They find out there's clones. Then it's just a big, all the captains fight their clones. Then all the captains fight the villains. Then all the lieutenants fight the clones. Then all the captains fight the clones again, and then Ichigo fights the villain. It's literally nothing but these, like, a series of fights over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, well, if we just mash these action figures together, that's what this arc is.
You can condense this down to 4 episodes, and it would still be really terrible.
There's some things I think are neat. I think some Soifon fighting Komamura is neat. That's a cool thing.
Yeah, no, sometimes when they let a captain fight someone like a different captain, not a clone of themselves, it's okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of like a lot of these fights have the sauce, and some of them are interesting. That they just like this was such a great opportunity to lock down power scaling and have like this cool round robin tournament of captains, and just none of it happened, and nothing was properly power scaled.
Yeah, and even the stuff where I'm like, okay, this makes sense that these two are relatively equal. Like, I liked Ukitake and Kyoraku couldn't take down Yamamoto. Let's throw Unohana in there with them. That makes it more equal.
Because we really need those two fighting the old man at least 3 times in this arc. That's very necessary to the flow of the story.
Yeah.
God damn it. How many times have they done that in Bleach? They did it in the Seirete arc, and I think we're up to 5 renditions of it now.
They sort of did it they didn't do it directly in the Beast Souls arc, but they had the two Zanpakuto of Ukitake and Kyoraku sealing Yamamoto.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did it like 3 times in this arc. So we've done it in some form 5 times.
Yeah, but it only canonically happened once.
Yeah. I think Unohana fighting Yoruichi and Soifon is correct. I think that's a suitable pairing off. But yeah, but everybody else is just like, yeah, they'll fight their clones.
I really don't. But because Unohana hasn't done much of anything in real content, they can't have her do anything but Kido. So it's just lame, and it's like you should just not have used her. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing that could have been cool with bad execution, like a lot of the big brawl fights in this one, where it's like everybody's here in the big last fight, and we can't. Like, sometimes we're going to forget that we have Shikai, because everybody popping our abilities off at the same time would be really complicated to block and animate. There's a lot of these fights happening where I'm like, why isn't Senbon Zakura taking care of 80% of this?
Because that wouldn't fill episodes. And that's it.
And then the resolution the resolution, the way the captains like own them is they go, well, all their personalities were altered slightly so they would be more aggressive and have a greater sense of self-preservation, which means if all the real captains like form up and actually use a fucking formation, which I'm stunned anybody in Soul Society understands even the most basic of a combat tactic. All the clones shit their pants and are like, well, it'd make me vulnerable if I moved to break their formation. Nobody's gonna watch my back. We all have the same insane. The villain of this is every filler villain in Bleach is in some way a seething incel.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the biggest one, to the point his release command is literally seethe.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it.
His entire thing is, I'm a weak piece of shit, but relying on anybody at all is cucked. The only real way to live is in complete solitude. So this whole plan was so I wanted to destroy Soul Society to prove I didn't need society.
Yep.
Yeah, and that only really comes up in like the last 5 episodes, and then they just keep hitting it hard and harder and harder. And it's like, this is really stupid.
It is really stupid. It is unbelievably fucking dumb.
I have to say, something titled Gotei 13 Invading Army, this is the stupidest idea they could have used for that. This could have been any number of things of an army invading the Soul Society. Instead, I'm one dude, I make clones of people.
And he says it like,
really
he's like, this
invade.
is my invading army, like 8 times.
Yeah.
They have him say explicitly that so many times.
You grew them here, and they spend half the arc just being in the Soul Society, not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. And then at the end, all the real captains are like, you can't overcome our solidarity because we have something to protect. And the clones are like, we protect shit too. We also want to protect the Soul Society. And then
they
like
go kill themselves.
And I'm like, there's nothing here but you guys and the Central 46 and the peasants you won't let in. What the fuck are you protecting? Eat shit.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, that final conclusion too of like, even though that they had the superior tactics, it came down to the clones killing themselves to stop Kagerosa, which
well, we were getting out of filler, so we needed it to be over.
Yeah, and then they even acted like that was their plan the whole time, and it's like, what was any of this? It was all pointless.
They're all just flying at the villain thing and like DBZ shining. I'm like, why can you do this? What is happening?
And listener, understand the thing that elevates this even more is that Kagerosa in his final form, especially. I don't know if it was the earlier form. It might have been, and it only really hit when he hit his youthful final fusion.
Mm-hmm.
Is liquid. It's Liquid Snake. It's McDonald Miller. It's just
Yeah. No, I can't.
He turned
Every
down
time
the
that guy
British
voices
dial
something,
slightly.
I can't hear it. Anything else.
I
I'm like,
was
that's
losing
Leonardo.
It. Yeah, exactly. He's like, I don't like Friends. And everyone's like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah, thanks, Cam Clark.
I don't know what it is about his voice. He's got some quality to it that I've never heard another human make, and it's instantly recognizable.
Dan was pointing out that it's always on a hot mic.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
has he just come into every, like, the audio engineer's like, okay, I set the level for you, Robin Atkins. Are you good? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. This is about how loud I'm going to talk. Okay, cool. Record. Hello! He's just like, oh my God.
Why like this? I really feel like we've said enough about the arc and that we can move on. How do you guys feel? Do you have anything else to get out?
I was fucking stunned when Ganju was there in one scene.
Yeah.
That was upsetting that he didn't get more than that. There was also one scene of the Bount detectors.
Yeah, the mod souls.
Yeah, one scene with them. They didn't even move.
You know, in the Bount arc, they talk about how the Bounts were technically the predecessors to mod souls. How this contradicts that? What's up with that?
This contradicts a lot.
Why did they contradict what depressingly might be the best filler arc of Bleach?
I adored the moment when, like, Ichigo, they give him the reishi pill and he gets his powers back, and everybody's like, oh yeah, Ichigo's here. And I shouted at my screen, what are you celebrating? Your situation has not materially changed.
To be fair, that's also what happened in the main thing. Like, Ichigo will end this war with eyes, and I'm like, how? Like, yeah, he did because he became God's chosen child, but like God's favorite little boy, but I don't understand how you saw that coming.
Right.
I mean, it was kind of even worse because Aizen was just like the strongest guy and you needed someone stronger, which they thought might not be possible. Kagerosa you can't beat him. The way we wrote it, you can't beat him. We have demonstrated that it is impossible to beat him in a fight because his powers are infinite and bullshit. Because he has lots and lots of powers. And then Ichigo does. It's like the Universe 6 arc when Goku's fighting Hit. He just decides to not be affected by it, I guess, and wins.
That made more sense, Eric, because Goku's number was big enough to ignore it. See, this arc would be better if he had tried that shit on Yamamoto, and Yamamoto's like, do you think I've been head of Soul Society for 1,000 years because JoJo powers work on me? And then he decapitates him.
Right. It would have been so funny. I honestly was like, are they going to just have Ichigo pull out the final Getsugaten show again?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That would have been fantastic.
It would have.
Yeah, like we just had Soy Fan hit Aizen with the instant kill, and he's like, no. Sorry. That's not the fucking genre you're in.
To try again later. Oh my God, how did Kagerosa eat a soul candy? Like Mayuri stabs him with the stuff, and then he eats the mod soul candy and pops himself out of his own.
It's so upsetting.
I thought that was going to be a thing going forward, and I would explain how he kept getting stronger and stronger or something, but then they just forgot they could do that.
Yeah, it was real dumb. Like it was like there's like, well, we can't really make this work the way it should, so we'll just do it wrong.
Sounds like Bleach.
God. Anybody else?
The second spoiler image I put in there is the villain brain dead, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yes.
I think it's really funny that there's an image of a guy that brain dead in Bleach now, just forever.
Yeah, it's great.
God, yeah, he is a lot.
That's what the VR Chat Plus tier does for you.
Wow,
yeah,
we can do that for you?
Yeah,
you don't even need ultimate?
No, you don't.
So, luckily, due to the nature of this arc, we only have one captain's meeting at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It's the dumbest one.
We do have meetings in Ichigo's house, though.
We do.
That's
have
true.
A lot of those.
But we do have, in the climax of this arc, within the last 4 episodes of this arc, Urahara goes to the Jedi archives.
He does.
Yeah. Yeah, no one can prevent it. Like, they have to write that into filler.
And Cone has to go with him because, again, Cone is the central figure in this arc, apparently.
Yeah, he has to come everywhere.
I'm really sad that the bullshit he gave, because Cone gets put in the clone Nimu's body and uses that to deceive the villain and kick him. I'm like, why didn't instead of the chemical he needs to maintain his fusion, why didn't you give him Mayuri's poison, since Mayuri was involved in the situation in which you got there?
I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant, but then they didn't do the most obvious smart thing to do in that situation. They just had Cone kick him.
Because they just didn't want to they couldn't write an ending for this arc that didn't involve Ichigo doing a cool final attack.
Which is so dumb.
Yeah, it's like, guys, Ichigo is washed. That's been the whole arc. His powers are fading. We don't need to pretend he's the one who saves the day.
And it's even more ludicrous because all they do after that is just have Ichigo's powers fade by fighting hollows.
Yeah, it's really stupid. Here's another missed opportunity. These things are mod souls. Imagine if Ichigo had done his big attack and it hadn't worked, and then the villain's like, ha, I win. And then Ichigo's like, I have Rukia's glove and am palming your face and pulling you out of that body.
Yeah, there are all sorts of mechanics that should work with mod souls that just don't. Like, he can't sucker punch anyone and make them spit up their candy. Like,
they don't even think of it.
No,
like,
they don't think of it once.
Has his cane with the thing in the tip. Rukia has her gloves. And they don't even think of, like, that would have been a really interesting, like, they're really strong, but we have these things that knock them out of their bodies.
Which is weird because that would require remembering early Bleach, a thing I would say they don't do. But then they brought up the soul chain randomly.
Yeah, they bring up the soul chain in this whole arc. It's about the mod souls, which are early Bleach.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't get it.
We should cover the illustrated guide to Soul Reapers we thought were funny. Not all of them. I only wrote down the ones that I thought were good.
Yeah, there were some really good ones.
What's the first one you guys wrote? Because mine was 325.
I actually didn't write any down. Go ahead and just do yours.
Okay. Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers 325. Ichigo's going through a Senkaimon to Soul Society. Ashita gives him a bunch of junk to take. Like, here's a first aid kit and a backpack and a packed lunch and blah, 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 blah. He piles all this shit. And then Nozomi, who at this point still wasn't a character yet. They didn't know what her fucking deal was. So I think the thing they were just trying to imply she was dumb and unaware of the world. Is like, and take this, Ichigo, and this, and she starts piling stones onto the pile.
That was good.
Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers 326. Mayuri gives a fucking lecture about the two Momos and says, if they weren't trying to kill him, Hitsugaya would have been very invested. Then he reveals he has an army, like they show, I think that is the first spoilered image I put in this channel of him at a ghost club with two Momos.
It's great.
That was back when I had any hope for this arc.
Yeah, it was all uphill. It was like the first two seasons of Lost before you realize there's nothing behind the curtain.
And then he's like, and I have all these other Momos in case he ever wants to have a harem, and it shows like a dozen Momos.
Yeah, it was great.
I don't think, like, Mayuri, I get you're a crazy scientist. That's too much mental illness in one room. you send all of them to dote on Hitsugaya, and they'll be killing each other within 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Even 2 is dicey. 329. Soifon has a lesbian fantasy about Yoruichi rescuing her from a tower. Yoruichi is dressed like Lady Oscar from The Rose of Versailles. That is the third image in that grid of 4 I put in there.
Good stuff.
Yeah, no, that's something we need more of.
333. Chad and Ashita carry all the injured, beat up lieutenants to Orihime so she can heal them. They forgot Omaida, and they all are like, nope, we wouldn't forget anybody. They'd have to be a total piece of shit everyone hates for us to forget them.
It was a real Excel saga. We forgot Pedro.
Yes.
He's wearing cement boots as he sinks to the bottom of the ocean moment.
It should have been you, Omaida. It would have been so easy. It was you.
Easy if it was you.
334. This one's bad. It's a joke to explain why Urahara wasn't there for something he'd obviously be there for.
He's bashing on keyboards and hacking. And,
yeah, he has to hack. He has to be hacking instead of helping everybody not get killed by these clones or even fighting the villain.
Oh yeah, we should bring it up. Ichigo's dad does not do anything this arc.
Oh yeah, where the fuck is he?
He's actually in their house.
Yeah.
He just doesn't go help.
Yeah.
They don't want to acknowledge that.
Also, we didn't really talk about traveling through the precipice world and the time dilation and time contraction
We
and the
talked
cleaner.
too much about that
and
nonsense already.
Ichigo's power being inside of the cleaner and Ichigo not having power, allowing him to walk inside of the cleaner and get his power back.
God.
That was the weird time loop aspect of this plot, which does nothing and doesn't matter at all, and I don't even know why it's here, is stolen from something. I just don't know what. So if you have watched this filler arc and know what they stole that plot point from, what visual novel they just took it from, please leave a comment telling me.
I genuinely go, you had no ideas and were terrified to innovate on any concept in Bleach except all of this shit?
Right? Where he just has like Ghostbuster tech all of a sudden. I don't know.
336. Urahara fixes Cone. First he does it with like really terrible patches. Then he just cuts him up and makes him worse. And then he makes him a real lion with Cone's tiny little plush animal head, which is the first in that grid.
I don't understand why Cone didn't like this.
Me neither.
It's very disconcerting medieval manuscript. I've never actually seen a lion core.
Well, you see, when he's a normal plush, Cone has like the Powerpuff Girl power of like, I don't have fingers or thumbs, but things still stick to my hands. But he doesn't have that power when he's a lion.
I thought we were going to explain it as he needs to be cute and visually appealing to have a hope of getting anywhere near a woman.
337. All the captains were recovering at Kukaku's. They fucking bring her back.
Then Ganchu.
I forget who it is. It's one of the other captains. They see Byakuya like leaving in the middle of the night. Like, he must be training to prepare for the battle. He's so diligent. In reality, he was building a giant ambassador seaweed made of plywood behind Kukaku's house.
Byakuya is so good.
339. The villain explains his stupid fucking plan while in the background Orihime, Chad, and Ishida are making Monster Hollow Ichigo do circus tricks like jump through a flaming hoop and catch a ball.
Yeah, that was a lot.
And they all like sit around him clapping like he's a dog.
Oh yeah, I meant to bring it up earlier. When they do this thing where they have Ichigo turn into the giant monster, he just wanders around like that for like a day or something, like hours. And I could have sworn when this happened in content, like real non-filler content, is like, oh yeah, if he stays that way for more than a minute, we need to kill him because we can't fix it. I didn't go back and check exactly how long it was, but I remember that being a mechanic.
Yeah. It was a lot shorter, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's right, where it's just like originally his soul will be completely lost and it'll be an out-of-control nuclear bomb of a human. He's got 40 seconds, and this time it's like he's got a really long, aimless, drunken stroll around town.
Well, you know, the girl used her magic power on him, and then he was recovered, so it's fine.
I think there's a real missed opportunity here for no reason to just clone Ganju and Hanataro and have the clones run a competitive convenience store against the originals.
Yeah, no, we didn't get any Hanataro in this whole arc, which is crazy.
Yes.
Like,
that's weird. He doesn't show up on screen once.
We spent all the resources to clone Squad 2, or they're dumb enough to have followed fake Soifon to attack other captains for no reason. And no Hanataro.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Doesn't make any sense.
And again, the best Bleach filler has ever been was Hanataro working at a convenience store. We need to get back to it.
Yeah, at least they've developed some reason to show it goes into the real world for like a few episodes in this, but those episodes end up sucking anyway.
Well, I mean, part of that is we're at the climax of the fight thus far in the Soul Society, and instead of concluding and saying at all what occurred when the explosion happened after they took off the bracelets, they just cut to the real world and go, we're not going to concern ourselves with that. We're just going to talk about Nozomi getting her Soul Reaper powers. So it's incredibly frustrating where they put that pacing-wise. This arc's evil.
It is.
Genuinely, I don't care if it's intentional or unintentional. It is evil.
I'm going to read this quote from the villain. Loneliness is not a sin, so no matter the circumstances, I don't need help from others. Other people only get in the way. To help is mere pity. It is jealousy towards the strong, an insult to a noble spirit. To be alone is to be the only one. The privilege of a superior soul. This guy doesn't have a Bankai, by the way.
Yeah, worth noting. Unlike most Bleach characters, this one is prideful.
God, it's like Aizen written even stupider.
Yeah,
It is.
It's some kid reading The Fountainhead and thinking he's Aizen. Libertarian guys with animated sex doll wives.
No, Aggro, that's not being alone. He just jerks off.
He manipulates his space.
Yeah, he's manipulating his space at least 2 or 3 times a night. That's true strength.
like this guy hated himself and hated his life and split his soul and turned into like a hot scene girl. There's really nothing he needs to self-analyze about that.
No.
Not at all.
I like that we don't even bring that up. It's like, why did you do that?
Why'd you do that? You want to unpack that? Also, nice VR headset. You want to unpack that? What was the VR headset for?
Oh, that was to upload his brain. Yeah.
It was literally to deep fry it. Okay, for some reason, I went because he started screaming at one point while it was happening. I don't think he understood when he uploaded his brain would no longer be in his skull or some part.
No, I think that was the plan. I think he knew it would hurt a lot.
That's the face of success.
Yes.
Okay. I was bringing too much to the table then.
Right.
That was as planned.
Mm-hmm. Everything is planned. Any other golden to talk about?
But there are no Goldens. We haven't had Goldens in what feels like a year, our time, which means forever real time.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's all the Argar encyclopedias or whatever they call that segment now?
That's
okay.
Well, it's still the illustrated guide to Soul Reapers. It's just not golden.
Right. That's what it was called.
Yeah, Jesus. Which, I mean, fair. At least they're marketing correctly. I would hate for them to say, this is all golden.
Mm-hmm. All right, that means we get to move on to talk about the intros and endings. This time we had OP 14, Blue by Vivid. This has a whole bunch of fights against captains that wouldn't make any sense unless we made clones, but that'd be really stupid. I hope that's not what the arc was about. Anyway, what'd you guys think of this opening?
So, again, as you said, the opening animation very clearly shows the absolutely brain-dead nature of the entire arc.
Mm-hmm.
And the worse the arc got, the more I hated it, because it was complete truth in marketing. The packaging was 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could like the song, but the upsetting nature of how repugnant the notion of this arc is and how clearly it is conveyed to its fullest extent in the intro has made me hate it.
What's the number then?
The animation could be worse. I'm giving it a 2.
Chris Wolfhard, what did you think of it?
I kind of liked this opening. I thought it was had a decent song, and it sure would have been nice if any of those fights were as interesting as the opening implied they might be.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll give it a 6.
You know, it's worth noting, they don't always fight clones of themselves in the opening fight. They do this thing where they draw them fighting each other so it's visually distinct.
Right? That's pretty crazy.
What a notion. Should we explore? No. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of like the song. I think the animation's neat, and I think that there are some cool shots in here. But it's still not good because it has everything to do with this arc. So I'm going to let it sit at a 5.
I wish I could have gotten this OP song completely divested of this arc in this intro. Because I think the song is good.
Yeah, no, it's like they chose a good song.
At the same time, though, it activates me. I get angry just trying to listen to it outside of the context of the intro, even, where I'm just like, ugh, that's the sound of me being pissed.
Dr. Edgar, what do you think?
I had a very different response to the exact same stimuli. I always looked forward to the OP because it was the only thing in this arc that fucking delivered. The song was a really great, like, late 90s, early 2000s sounding kind of thing. Really nice. The animation was smooth. It was beautiful. It had stuff that they did not fucking do in the arc. It was really cool. I'll give it an 8. Easy.
Yeah, I really liked when they did the Arrancar sky opening effect for the Bleach logo. And it was like, but those aren't in this arc. Are you going to do that? And they're like, no, we just thought it looked cool.
And you know, they were right. It looks cool. It's a cool thing.
All right, now the cover ED27 Bluebird by Fumika. This is a kind of sweet song, and it has a surprising focus on Ishida.
Yeah, why is it about Ishida wanting to fuck Ichigo? I really don't get it.
Right? Okay, it's not just me. I'm like, yeah, no, this is a very straight ED, absolutely.
It literally ends with like him doing the at Ichigo like a tsundere girl. Like it's so strange.
Yeah, I had to rewatch this a few times today just to be like, that happened, right? Yeah, I don't get it. Like it starts out with just generic Bleach stuff falling from the sky, and then it just is all about Ishida.
Intercut with him like remembering Ichigo.
Yes. So Chris, what did you think of it? Is that good?
It was pretty neutral. It was weird. I guess I'll give it a 6 for being one step above normal.
Dr. Aggro?
Yeah, I mean, like, as stated, some of the visuals were incredibly interesting. Some of them less so, but the song was an absolute bop. I'm gonna have to. Like the song itself carries it up to a 7.
Dan, video games?
Okay, please understand. I wish I picked up on the really gay vibes. I didn't. This really was the background noise of watching this. It didn't grab me enough with enough powerfully good or powerfully bad animation decisions. Mm-hmm. It does some pans and stuff of artwork of people, but not so many as to upset me. It has an effect as the intro, but it's like tastefully done instead of, this looks good, right? Just digitally 3D space panning these trees really fast or anything else. It's not good by any means. Like, it doesn't really stand out as an ED, but it also doesn't really stand out as an ED for being bad. This is some real middle of the road shit to me. It completely disappeared into the background experience of watching this arc. Mm-hmm. This is the least I've ever remembered one of these. I'm gonna have to give it a 4.
It's fair.
It's not a bad song, but I would remember it more if it was.
Yeah, I have to say I'm kind of in the same boat of like, it just didn't do enough. It feels like just really plain, this is a Bleach ending song. It does have that nice angle of the Ishida Ichigo love story, which doesn't seem to come up again. I don't know. I don't think. So that raises it to a 5 for me, but it is pretty plain otherwise. And then the final ending for this set, ED28, Haruka Kanata by Unlimits. This has a kind of hype song while they do recaps of the whole arc, because this is their 10th anniversary ED. Honestly, I like the song, but at the end of the day, this is just a clip reel. And it's the clip reel that skips the bounce.
It's true. It does just outright skip the bounce, and it was great because as you watch this, they change what footage is in the background every single time. Mm-hmm. So that way it's slowly progressing through Bleach. So we felt it when they just skipped the bounce arc entirely.
So I'm gonna let it sit at a 4 because it kept me trying to watch it every time, but I was never impressed, and I was always kind of upset because they started out with, oh, here's this character. Surely the clip reel is going to be about them, and then it's like, no.
You thought this was a clip reel about characters when this was a clip reel about Bleach.
Yeah.
Sometimes it kind of was.
Yeah, kind of, at best. So yeah, I'm getting a 4.
Understandable.
Chris, what did you think?
I liked the song, but this is like, we didn't have money to make an ED. We had literally no money to make an ED, so I guess I'll give it a 5 because it had a good song and functionally had no visuals. It might as well have been a black screen.
Dan,
I'm sorry. I liked this.
Okay.
It gave me a reason to watch it every time.
Yes.
It showed a different character, and then I got to play the game of, now, is this even mostly a clip reel about them? I appreciated going through the history of Bleach. It, even as someone who's just been doing this podcast, it felt nostalgic in a sense. You get to revisit what it's been like for the last 4+ years to run this podcast. and all of what we've been through. I legitimately enjoyed this ending, even though, yes, it might as well have been made by an AI. It really does just show clips, but there's a style about it that looks kind of nice, and the dramatic flair at the beginning building up to, oh, who's the character? Oh, it's this person. Boo! We digitally like rotate and cut in. I liked this. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm giving it a 7.
All right.
You can't give it more when it doesn't have original animation that much.
Yeah, 10th anniversary, it feels like they could have done some sort of original animation for that, but nah.
Do these episodes deserve that, though?
They don't, but the 10th anniversary might.
The fans do.
Yeah, the fans do. Dr. Edgar, what did you think?
Yeah, like I thought that it was neat that they were doing this, but it also meant that I didn't get a real ED. But also, I'm not gonna lie, the end of episode 342 actually got to me. Because I'm like, oh man, like it feels like all of this shit that happened, all of the filler, all of the Iran arc. No, like I'm actually getting to see the end of Bleach, like good Bleach that I remember from back when I was in high school. And then like the last ED comes up and it's the dual Ichigo Rukia version, and I'm like, oh, that's good. Honestly, that one alone is gonna carry it up to like a 6.
I thought he was going to be like, and then we hit the one with Neliel. Funk or whatever. And Neliel Rickenbacker.
All right, time to move on to my favorite segment, the Best Dressed Award. And I'm feeling, I'm just going to cheat.
I've been shot.
I'm going to go first. And it's Soifon in the dress.
Yeah.
She's a princess. I don't understand what else could win.
I mean, her life goals are actualized on screen.
Right? Good for her.
Good for her.
Dr. Edgar, you get to go next.
Okay, let me see here. I am going to give this rare W to Maeda, who is rocking this bold pattern on a Hawaiian shirt at the cookout.
Oh my God.
You know what? That's the most presentable he's ever looked to me. That is where he should be. He should be wearing some shitty button-up shirt and manning the grill. That is what
he's missing the gold chain and the cheap aviator sunglasses.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, this is ideal Maeda.
He shouldn't even fight. They should be like, why do we keep that guy around? It's like, he runs the grill.
like get your dressing advice from Chad. It works.
Omaida?
Yeah.
Omaida. Okay.
No. Chad obviously dressed him there.
I mean, yes. No, that's clearly what happened. It's almost like the event itself dressed him.
Chad's probably the only person big enough for his shirts to fit Omaida.
Probably.
Yeah, that's true.
Dan, who was your best dressed?
Okay, so this is possibly the most Gooner choice I've ever had. Orihime, in the back half of this, has an absolutely insane, like, I don't know what you fucking call this type of clothing. It's a nice winter cotton, bright vanilla white sort of colored sleeves and most of her upper half of a button-up.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't attempt to go to the lower half, but this is absolutely insane for her boob game. It is nuts out here. The animator went wild.
Yeah, no, they're like drawn twice as big as Nels. We can't have this. We can't have this.
Yeah, they do get pretty big in this arc.
This was a part of an office war. Someone got upset.
It's like, what did Kubo say? He's wrong.
He's wrong, and I'm going to prove it right now. I'm making a new outfit. We're going to show this.
Jesus.
That outfit is fucking stellar.
She may have a padded bra. I don't know.
It's padded with ballistics gel, right?
Chris, who is your best dressed?
So in one of the illustrated guide to Soul Reapers I didn't recount because it wasn't interesting, Cone is explaining his epic backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And for one frame, Rukia is in the background, inexplicably wearing a Supergirl costume.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, I wrote that down too.
Yeah, no, that's really good.
And I'm legally obligated to post the full image again because I'm legally obligated to point out whenever anything references Kanikuman because Cone is doing the Tower Bridge.
Oh my God.
Which I will get an image of that in 1 second to get the an image of the Tower Bridge. That is him twisting a guy in half. That is not the Tower Bridge. The Tower Bridge. That's the main move of Robin Mask, the night guy, where he snaps your fucking spine in half.
Great. Man, that guy really looks like a Fist of North Star villain.
Yeah, he does.
Gee, Dan, there sure is some exaggerated orihime in the background of this cone picture.
It was noted.
All right, Dan.
Huh?
Scale 1 to 10. How excited are you to keep watching Bleach? You get to go back to real content next time.
I'm gonna put this at an 8.
Okay.
Reason being, it's not filler.
Mm-hmm.
It's the jumping off point from this really somber, serious moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it brings us back to where it all matters. Karakura Town. So, presumably, we're going to get some good stuff like we did with the Vizard super early on. We're going to get some good stuff like the first arc of Bleach. Presumably, we're going to have some good character stuff. We're going to invent some new characters. Yeah, maybe Grand Fisher comes back again. Anything is possible in Karakura Town. That place is so crazy.
It better be. I mean, it's one of 2 locations of Bleach.
Don Kanonji's going to help Ichigo get his powers back. It's going to be so good. Bob, why'd you get really quiet then? That's so weird. But I'm very excited for all of those reasons and so much more.
Yeah, I've never watched the whole thing animated, so I'm excited to see that. I actually did go back and watch the end of this next arc animated, but none of the rest of it.
You just needed to see Ichigo throw one more final Getsu Goten-show, huh? You're like, I need to see it animated.
Could you imagine they end 2 arcs in a row like that? Good Lord.
They should have ended 3. It
Right?
should have been the filler arc too.
All right, and that's all our segments. That means we can review this thing. And that review uses our patented tightness scale that goes from 0 to 25. Dr. Aggro, how tight was this?
This arc is bad. This arc is bad, and it's real dumb. And if you think about how it's written for too long, your brain starts to hurt. But a lot of the animation has the sauce, and it crosses the threshold into being so fucking stupid. Now it's actually fun to watch again. Right before it crosses the threshold again, and you're just angry about it. 10.
Whew. Yeah, I wanted to like this because, like we said, it is animated well somewhat frequently. There's some cool moments, but the whole thing is just so bad overall. It's honestly the worst arc in Bleach. I'm going to give it a 2 because some of the stuff is animated well. Really just for the final confrontation between Ichigo and the main villain, because that last little couple hits is incredibly well animated. Chris Wolfhart?
I didn't hate this as much as you guys. It's pretty bad, though. 6.
Dan?
I think there are possibly, at most, being generous, 2 whole episodes worth of really good bits in the entire 26 episodes or whatever we watched. So it's hard to be like it was rotten from end to end. There are some good moments, like Double Momo. And what was it? Yoruichi who just kicks her, and then she says like one more sentence and turns to dust. That was the funniest shit in Bleach, possibly.
God damn it.
The Momo should have gotten like DO'd and just had a fucking bulldozer dropped on them.
It's a guy. It's like, please don't tell anybody. I was getting my ass kicked by Momo.
And there are a couple moments like that. There are a few moments like that. There's some good things here. I actually really liked most of what the Nozomi gets Soul Reaper powers episode was about. It's just when it happened that made it insufferable, and what you knew they were going to do with it that made it worse. But and there's some good animation. There really is. But this arc is terrible. This is rotten. There is no worse arc in Bleach. If you did these rankings by individual episodes, there's a chance this would fill most of the bottom 20. As such, I need to give it like a 4.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to remember some of the good bits. Because it's Double Momo's fucking hilarious. And VR Chatman is hilarious as a villain because he's the most transparent. The writer going, well, Bleach is all about incels, right? Prideful incels. Prideful, friendless incels. That's what the core villain of Bleach always is. And I'm like, okay.
I guess that's what we're doing.
Sure, I guess. So yeah, 4 out
Great.
of 25, which brings our average score to 5.5 out of 25.
Whoa. That's pretty low.
That's pretty low.
We have to review 5 episodes at a time for us to hit an arc that bad before this.
Let me tell you, this committee was not a big fan of the Diamond Dust Rebellion movie.
That movie did suck. That movie was, if that was a whole arc, it would have been worse than this.
One moment.
Maybe. I don't even know.
But wait, no. Here's why not, okay? I'm imagining a version that's actually 16 or 15 episodes, and then they fuck around like they did with the Sword Beasts.
Ooh.
So you get 8 episodes of shenanigans.
I love the part where we were hopeful halfway through this arc of like, yeah, they're going to finish it, and then they're going to do that, and it'll be great.
And it'll be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we didn't get that. But what we do get is more trivia.
Oh.
Something I forgot to do in the proper place, but we're doing it right now because I have some really good trivia this time.
Surprise trivia, okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Ururu and Ginta are mod souls created by Urahara. True or false?
True.
Egro?
Fuck, I haven't seen that part since high school. True?
Chris?
No, false.
So this doesn't actually get shown in the show or the manga, but in a QA on Kubo's website, Club Outside, and also mentioned in the Bleach novel, Can't Fear Your Own World. Yes, they are made by Urahara.
Yeah, that makes sense. Look at them.
Right, but very weird that this never comes up.
Yeah, see, that means it's not real to me.
Fair, but it is real.
To the trivia section.
To the trivia section.
Go to the trivia section, but I am a firm believer of, if you don't put it in your thing, it doesn't count, because fucking try and follow along with what I'm about to say.
Uh-huh.
You didn't put it in the thing.
Yep.
Did you know in a Q&A, Kubo said Dumbledore's gay?
Right?
He says all kinds. He answers questions. So he does the Toriyama shit where it's like, I didn't fucking think about it. I better make some shit up right now.
Smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I think he says like, well, any of the Arrancar could have done that shit Ulquiorra did if they trained.
But I'm excited to see them maybe add that into the final season of Infinite Blood War. I don't know how.
The invisible infinite blood war.
Yeah. The endless 100-year infinite blood war.
I need to check where that season is ending, because it doesn't feel like they have 12 episodes left in the tank.
Well, that's because you're going to be hearing a boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo as shenanigans happen.
Yes. But we aren't going to that next time. Next time, we're going to do episodes 343 through 366, which is the Lost Agent arc, or as other places call it, the Lost Substitute Shinigami arc. I feel like Lost Agent leaves things some more mysterious angle to it. It's a little cooler sounding, so I feel like that's probably the better one.
I don't know. That really just sounds like that shitty joke I make every E3 season.
Boo. You're making it right now, technically. Rockstar, I'm going to need you to sue my co-host. Hey, before you down that jug of bleach, how about you head on over to patreon.com/GBpodcast. You can get the next episode of Chugging Bleach early and help support us doing insane 7-year-long endeavors like watching all of Bleach. We also do many other shows that you can get extras for, and if you ascend to Vastopod Lourdes, you'll even get credit for it on Big Think Dimension, our weekly gaming podcast. If not, that's fine. We'll see you next time you're thirsty for some Bleach. The executive producers for this GigaBoots video are Esme, Ely Broyles, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, a reminder for Symphony of War, Cooper Tank, Very Best Plot, Iconic Bane, and Rado. Thank you very much to our executive producers. And also these guys. If you want to become an executive producer or normal patron, head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.